how we roll anyway.
Hello, everybody. This is City Talk Fall River. I'm going to start sharing on Facebook real soon that we're actually up. We just do. I'm never organized when it comes to this podcast, but I love it.
But I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
I think we're all disorganized on some level. Like I think we take turns.
Yeah. I actually don't mind. I don't mind it. Like I think when we had the BCC studio, we needed to be time oriented. We needed to be on time all the time, run it, the whole 9 yards. But when it comes to doing this out of my own apartment now, I want it to be relaxed. I want it to be our thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be regimented and things like that.
Our thing. That was so cute.
Isn't
Our
it?
thing. Yeah, it's sweet. Very nice.
So as I post this up, Nikki is going to go through. Oh wait, is that the research on sanitation stuff?
Yes, this is sanitation stuff.
So,
we can save that.
So if anyone listened to, and actually not a lot of people listened to our last week's podcast, which I didn't expect. I mean, holidays are coming around and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody's busy.
But
the great thing about it being on YouTube is they can always go back.
You can always go back on YouTube and get it. That's a good idea.
Unless you play a song and then you
can't. So Nikki and I spent probably the last 15 minutes of the last episode beefing. It was good.
We were brawling.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's like a street battle.
Yeah, I think our Miss Anonymous, who always says that we get along too well for our podcast, I think she would have been proud of us going at each other. But here's the thing. Nikki came in and I said, Nikki, we should talk about this and talk it out so that way we're all on the same page. And she asked me if she's like, oh, well, then I should apologize to you. And I'm like, you don't have to apologize.
Don't say it like that.
No, I don't mean it like that.
Last week that I would apologize.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like in general.
Remember, you do what I tell you to do. It's not the other way around.
What my point is, Nikki, there's no reason to apologize because you can argue your point and I can argue my point and we're not getting personal with each other.
Right, but my apology was for misunderstanding what you said.
All right,
so that's where my apology. My apology.
I get that.
I can't even talk. My apology is because I thought you had said no protesting in the streets. That's not what you said. And I did get fired up because that's what I thought you said. So that's where my apology came in. In no way, shape, or form do I apologize for that conversation because it was such a good one. Even if we're going back and forth, that's the whole idea, is that even though we had opposing opinions or I was misunderstanding things, that's a huge problem that happens everywhere. But sometimes it does end in friends not being friends anymore or people getting aggravated. And neither of us in that particular moment are like that. You're entitled to your thoughts and feelings. I'm entitled to my thoughts and feelings. Yep. But I appreciated our conversation.
Yes. Because even if we had we have very similar opinions when it comes to protesting. If I were to have a difference of opinion with you on the protesting, I think we should still be able to have a conversation about it and walk away disagreeing without having to be like, I hate Nikki or Nikki saying I hate Trott.
Or I'm wrong. Yeah. Like I can never say you're wrong because it's your opinion on things.
Right. Just your take.
Right.
Just how you see things.
Or how I feel. And it might be how I feel in the moment. I could change. Like I went home and I started looking through everything. Well, we're getting on that, but that's where I went back and I listened to the show and I'm like, oh yeah, he didn't say protesting, you said burning cars in the street.
Yeah.
But the reason that I have been getting so emotional, and I re-listened to the show last week, so I understood it better. Mm-hmm. It's the part about the violence. I felt like when you were saying what you were saying about protesting in the street, burning cars, I felt like it was only being
portrayed.
Nope, only being addressed to the people who are protesting Trump. And at one point you said, what are they protesting? Nothing. And I was like, oh my God, like they're not protesting nothing. So I just think it was a miscommunication. We didn't really talk about it, I think, the way we could have.
Yeah.
I think it was more based on is there or isn't there violence instead of where is the violence stemming from?
Yep. Why are they protesting? Right.
Why? But it's two different things. Why is there violence and why are they protesting? Mm-hmm. And does that violence at the protest, did it come from protesters? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what's the reasoning behind that violence? So I was just so emotionally charged last week. And I warned you guys, like, I really, really, really have been emotional. Like the things that people are saying, the things that I'm seeing, the people that are getting put into positions, neo-Nazis being put into positions. So when I see somebody, to me, burning a car, it's like, are they fighting for their lives? Like, this is where I question it. So no, I mean, if I was fighting for my life, I may burn a car or two.
Right.
No lie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like it was a Bush win, or there aren't people saying we should make lists.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it's like, that's where I told you, this is the first time in an election where I've been so disgusted.
Yep.
Really disgusted. How can you want it making a list of people? It's so Hitler-esque. So
putting what is it, like a registry for Muslims and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Has he actually verbalized that yet?
Not him himself,
yeah.
But here's the thing: when he's putting people into positions of power, and those individuals have outright white power, you know what I mean? Like, they're blatantly white nation, Trump nation. I mean, when they're saying that, you have to question if he's the one putting them into positions and they're saying these things. You do have to question, okay, even though he's not physically the one saying them, he's electing them. I mean, I would in no way in shape or form put someone in a position who is ready to throw down a list of people just because of who they were.
I'm going to try and see if I can find it, because I used to watch The Daily Show a lot when their host was Jon Stewart. The reason why I liked Jon Stewart, I mean, he was a left-leaning comedian for the most part, but why I liked him was because even if he would still point out the hypocrisy of his own base if he needed to, and he also he usually strived for the more sensible position on all of the political topics that are out there, whether it's healthcare, equality of marriage, and all that kind of stuff. He'd bring his brand of humor, which is fine, whether you like that or not. That's your opinion. But I always felt like when you peel off the comedy piece, he always had a sensible approach to whatever the topic was, and it was usually something I can nod my head and say, okay, I see where it's coming from, and I understand it.
I love that.
And the new guy that they have, Trevor Noah, he's still finding his way. I think he's funny on his own, but like as a regular stand-up. But I think when it comes to political topics, I think his writing staff has been more influential in his delivery, whereas Jon Stewart had more autonomy to say what he was thinking when he was behind the microphone. You know what I mean?
Now, I haven't watched Trevor. Does he have an accent?
Yeah, he's actually from South Africa.
Okay, I wasn't sure where he was from.
Yeah. But at any rate, we've given enough advertising to them. But I guess my point was that he made a comment, Jon Stewart, about the stupidity of those on the left that were continually putting out the mantra that everyone who votes for Donald Trump is a racist. So I'm going to try and find that quote if I can by him.
And I love that. And that's a big part of why I don't like the hate toward people who did vote for Trump, because I can understand where they came from. I almost feel like it was two separate elections. You had one for the people who were worried about finances, and you had one that were worried about their civil liberties. So I think that's where it split. And your vote was based on whether you cared more about civil liberties or whether you cared more about finances.
Well, and a lot of people also cared about the racial aspect too. I mean, but
I just don't want to make them the big. I don't think they're the majority.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're out there, but they've always been out there, and I just don't think they're the majority. So I think the people now, I can't even understand how things are happening right now.
So Jon Stewart made a comment about that it was hypocrisy of the left for protesting to reject stereotypes, right? Going out there and saying, Donald Trump is, he will suppress our right to express ourselves, and, he'll stereotype us, and he'll be a racist and this, that, and the other. But at the same time, they turned around, a lot of them did at least, turned around and then made a stereotype of the typical Trump voter.
Right.
So they were being hypocrites in that aspect. So I actually appreciated that point, because again, you can have your political views. You know what? There's not a single political philosophy that has fully gotten it right. We've seen democracy succeed and fail. We've seen socialism have their high moments and their completely low moments. We've seen all these different political philosophies fail on one way or another, or succeed depending on what your definition of. It doesn't matter at the end of the day whether or not you are a liberal or a conservative or this, that, and the other. You're a human being first, and you got to respect another person at the end of the day. You cannot just go and smash them down just because they disagree with the way you think.
Well, for me, like, even if somebody is racist, because we've all come across somebody who is racist, I'm that person that I think it's a terrible thing not to like somebody just because of their color or their religion.
Right.
But my thing is, if you can respect everyone else, you're entitled to have your own feelings. Like, that's where I get so confused. Everybody's like, you can't talk like that. You can't talk like that. You can't talk like that. They can, even if we don't like it, but both sides are entitled. It's the same thing what we're hearing with Donald Trump right now, wanting to shut down the media. And he says, they shouldn't have said that all with the Hamilton cast. They should have apologized. Why? Why should they? So you want the cast of Hamilton to apologize, but at the same time, you were on stage talking about people and how being politically correct is so horrible.
Yeah. He also made fun, if I'm not mistaken, he made fun of someone who had physical disabilities.
I mean, he's made fun of weight. He's made fun of color. He's made fun of everything. Let's be honest, he has.
I think even he's made some Jewish remarks as far as like stereotypes on money and things like that. It's
awful. Like, that's what I'm saying is the
and he hired somebody. I believe, what was he was the writer or the editor of Breitbart, the
Steve
website.
Bannon.
Yeah, Steve Bannon. He's the guy that he's like, in my opinion, in 2016, fake news won. Like, fake news won big in 2016, and Breitbart was right at the top of the heap. For all those fake news sites. Look at how many
people we saw sharing those fake articles.
And that's just Fall River. I mean, let's go on a grand scale.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's go on a grand scale of the entire United States. From what I understand too, and again, I was wrong about something too, because Hillary Clinton right now has, I believe, over 2.2 million more popular votes.
Really? I thought it was at 1.7.
It's at 2.2 from what I've been reading around. Now, again, depending on your source, again, fake news won, right? So fake news might be in charge now. So maybe Hillary only got like 15 votes altogether. Who knows? But like, from what I've been reading around, is she was up to about 2.2 million, and it goes to show you that even though it was a big, it divided the country quite a lot between the two people. The popular vote has maybe Hillary Clinton can look in the mirror, I don't know, and look at herself and say, hey, at least I did this. I got this. She can hold on to some type of, I don't even want to call it moral victory, but sentimental victory. You know what I mean?
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Because I will say this.
Yeah.
As a woman.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, as much as I wanted to be president, okay, there was never a female president.
Yep.
Even to this day, I've sat there and said, when Hillary was running up against Obama, I got into many arguments with people because people were saying Hillary was going to win. And I said, there is no way the people of the United States are going to vote in a woman before they vote in a black man. I said, I will guarantee you they vote in the black man before they vote in the woman. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. We had Barack Obama. But for me, knowing that she got the popular vote, it's like a twofold. She is a horrible person.
Very horrible person.
And I don't want her to be president either.
Not at all.
However, as a girl, as a little girl who did want to become president,
right?
To say that she won the popular vote, right? That's letting the girls know, right? This can't happen, man. Right. Like, it can happen. Remember, I said a few weeks back that I just don't think any woman who's in there now is going to be able to break that ceiling. But we're going to have a lot more women who are coming up. Yeah. So that's what I look forward to. So that's
same thing.
It gives them hope on that level. But.
Same thing with Barack Obama. I when he was running, I was more inclined to like Ron Paul, even though I know he couldn't win. My political views were starting to change more into less liberal thinking as far as money spent in policies as far as financial related policies. But when it came to seeing Barack Obama win the first time around, I was like, I never thought I'd see that. You know what I mean? I never thought I would see that happen, especially around the time when he ran before Bill Clinton, before George W. Bush ruined, everything. And right before that, right around the 9/11 point, right before that 9/11 point, it looked as though like there was a lot of racial division going on around that time. This was like around 2001-ish, 2002-ish.
Well, you got the 90s, which is all the rap era.
Right. You had the hip hop thing, but you also had we were just coming off of Rodney King like 5 years earlier.
Right.
So in OJ, 4 or 5 years earlier from that. So there was still a lot of racial divide, and there always has been a racial, tension in this country from the day it began, obviously.
Right from day one.
Right. So when people tell me that Barack Obama set us back, I don't, I kind of laugh at that, because then I'm like, set us back from what?
Wow.
Right. Like when were race relations like at a stellar point in America? From my perspective, I don't think that you're going to see a ton of people from my perspective saying that. Maybe from other perspectives, they might say that, maybe, but definitely. I don't think the majority of minorities would say I don't think they would say that we always had it great until Barack Obama came and ruined race relations for everybody. Right. The way that some of that right wing media was trying to portray.
Exactly.
That's just the way I see it. So now Donald Trump is your president, and I actually think he's going to be a 4-year president, maybe even 8-year president if he turns some things around and people can get convinced. I do believe that. I told you right the week before the election started, Nikki, that I think he might win. I'm
definitely saying I was so totally wrong on that. I underestimated how many people were going to care more about the financial side of our presidency than our civil liberties. But I do believe that his presidency, to me, needed to happen. As crazy as that may sound, we've been in denial about our race issues for a long time. True. Where people don't want to believe it. There is absolutely no way that anybody can deny that we have racial issues in the United States. None. It's so clear.
Hope the argument is finally over now.
But this is where I'm saying, in order for us to make things better, they have to be acknowledged.
You need a cold splash of water on your face a little bit.
So he may have gotten the presidency, okay? But what happens if he starts taking it too far? Do we then see those people who did vote for him, but who definitely don't believe in lists of people, you know what I mean, on stop and frisk or fill in prisons, or when they see that their taxes increase because of the prisons being filled so much? I think it could be a good thing. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even have a possible thought of what could happen, because I've been shocked. As crazy as Trump is, the crazy things he said during the campaign, I cannot believe some of the people he has put in positions. I can't believe it.
He has hired a few. He's tried to diversify it a little bit. He's gotten a little bit more diversification now, but he put those mainstays in certain positions.
Yeah, but there's still some of them are just still like, you can't go throw a woman on and think that that's going to make me feel better.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you have people saying, Trump nation, white nation, and they're picking up their hands like it's Hitler. I can't do that.
So there's a video out there, and I actually commented on it. It's there's a video of an Aryan or a white supremacist group. And there's a pretty good amount of people in that room, maybe 50 to 100, I would assume, depending. They had the camera going around the room a little bit, and the guy was like, "Hail Trump!" And they did the Hail Hitler sign in the room. All the white people raised their hands, and they were saying, "Hail Trump! We're going to take this country back," or something to that nature. And to Trump's credit, he hasn't really said anything in response to this, or supported any of this. So we can't sit here and say that. And it also leans over to that whole stereotype that people are talking about, that Trump supporters are racist. Obviously, it leans towards that. But watching this video and then watching the subsequent interview after the video, to me, it's just a bunch of nuts. Is that group, have they been like acknowledged by Trump and his administration for anything?
Well, the thing is, when you are putting people like Steve Bannon
yeah.
into positions, it gives credence to what they're saying. I mean, just think about it. To me, the reason they are being so much more vocal is because they're not fearful of any kind of backlash for being that vocal.
Right.
So if you have the president of the United States of America putting somebody, a neo-Nazi, in a position, okay, not just a neo-Nazi, somebody who spreads fake news, it's terrible. And they're putting him in a position.
Caters to that crowd?
Absolutely. They're like, oh, wow, this is the way it's going to go. Hail Trump. No kidding.
I watched that video this morning, and me, like, I've mentioned this about myself. I handle, a lot of people would say that I handle things with humor more than I probably should, because I'm laughing because I want to see someone try to come up to me and act that way now that Trump's, you know what I mean? Like I would love to see that someone try to pass that along in my face. I'd like to see them try it
in front of me.
They do it online. They do it in groups. I want to see them do it individually and see how they go with that. I would love to. Hey, number is 774-955-0533. Call in. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. Yeah, do that. But that's why I laugh at some of this, because a lot of people act in certain circles in a way that they would not act.
Right. I call them
when
pretenders.
if they were one-on-one, you know.
They go with the crowd.
Yeah.
Whatever the crowd says is exactly what they're gonna say.
Well, they're also letting out what they really feel in those circles.
Yeah. What makes them feel safe.
Right. And then when they put on a different face when they're in a different circle, because they know inside that it's not socially acceptable. It's wrong. It's actually probably very morally wrong. It's
disgusting. It's really gross. Like, and just so you all know, right? Don't come to me with that stuff. Just because I am the what you think may be the right color, I'm good with that. Like, I'm so completely, I cry, I will tear your eyeballs out. I
do think that Trump himself is going to make more of an attempt to lean across the aisle than George W. Bush did. George W. Bush did not try to lean across the aisle in any way, shape, or form when he was the president. He just did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't think Trump knows anything to do. I think Trump's putting people into positions to do the job for him. I think he's used to being a manager. That's what managers do. And delegate. Yeah. Kind of the way that Sam Sutter did his position. Yeah. And then you have the Barack Obama administration, where from day one, Lindsey Graham and a group of others made it a vocal point, a public point, that they were going to oppose Barack Obama and everything he wanted to do. Their goal, their single goal, he said, was to make Barack Obama a one-term president. It's been like that since Clinton was in office. They did the same thing. Well, I'm trying to search through the positives of this administration's current Trump administration here to say what is good, because we know we can string off what we feel are going to be bad, right? And we're going to probably throughout the next 4 years or so. But I'm actually in a position here where I'm thinking to myself, what are going to be some of the positives that are going to come out of this administration, right? So someone just sent me, why does the Klan wear hoods? Yes. Because when they're done, they go back to being your doctors, your lawyers, your governors, your police officers, your senators, your teachers, your judges, your coworkers, etc. And that's right. Yeah, that's right. But real quick, trying to figure out what will be good about this administration, what could be good about this Trump administration, is that this is something in the way that he's made some of his statements and some of his speeches. I think he's going to make an attempt. I think he actually does have some views that are left leaning. Like when it comes to gay marriage, I don't think he's against gay marriage. I don't think so either. No. But that's where I'm saying. Pence is. Right, which is even scarier. Yes. So here we have, this is what I'm saying. I think I still can't see him as the president of the United States. He actually is the president of the United States, man. Right now, yes. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? I know. And believe me, I would rather have him than have Pence, because that's even crazier. But I had somebody say to me, things are going to get better now because it'll be everything's run by Republicans.
Ugh.
And I said, it's never going to get better because we have, if it's a one-party rule, right, things aren't going to be good.
No
and
balance.
then when we have it split, Democrat won, the other two failed or whatever, it's still not good because no matter what happens, before the hands on the Bible and they're swearing in, somebody's already saying, we're not going to give. We're not going to bend. We're not going to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So you already know, like, are you benefiting? It's the same thing in the city of Fall River, which is, I always say you got to start local. You got to start at home first. Right. We see it right in our city council meetings.
Yeah.
We see it. It's the same thing. Even if they agree with something, if they don't like the person putting it forward, they're not going to agree with it because it's their egos.
So, Nikki, I'm going to run off some left-wing topics that people from the left wing are very, very adamant about. Planned Parenthood. You hear that a lot, right? Planned Parenthood, the environment, talking about, the climate change and everything to that nature, pollution in general, all that stuff. Gay marriage equality in general. Yeah. No, marriage equality in general. No, I can correct myself.
I have to correct myself all the time.
Yeah. Marriage equality. All, those are the major topics. Am I missing something?
Healthcare.
Well, yeah, universal healthcare from the liberal side, because healthcare in itself is a big topic for everybody. But how to go about the healthcare is different. But from the liberal side, they want socialized, universal healthcare. Everyone contribute into it and whatever. So those are the big ones. And going down that list, I'm believing the only one.
Gun control.
Well, that's more of a conservative. That's more of the conservative side that really.
Yeah, but the left are against it.
They want gun.
Everybody still has their side. It's just that particular topic. That's what.
So yeah, gun control. As far as like they want like stricter gun control laws. So you look at all those and all the way from top to bottom. From top to bottom, the only one that I can see that Trump is like truly like left leaning is the marriage equality one.
Yes.
All the other ones, I think he's actually going to go after them, and I think he's going to let Pence
put people in jail for certain things.
Well, he did say that. Remember, he said that in a 60 Minutes interview. He said he would throw somebody in jail for abortion.
That there should be some form of punishment. Is exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And some women might have to travel out of state. It should go back to the states.
Government funding may decrease over the next 4 years or so in regards to Planned Parenthood, any efforts that are towards the EPA as far as climate control, offshore drilling. Yeah,
he doesn't like the wind turbines. Yeah, because it looks ugly.
Well, appearance matters on some level. The pipeline, there's a big protest going on in the pipelines.
20+ arrests.
Yeah. For
a protest.
Yep. So there's that going on.
Non-violent, by the way. Non-violent protest. But they were
there's also as far as the gun and the immigration piece for Donald Trump, those were his hallmark. If he never truly verbalized his policy plans. Nope. In any way, shape, or form, but he took a verbal stance online and in his speeches and in his rallies against illegal immigration, as he defines it. So, those bad hombres.
People really need to understand the difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. I just had somebody the other day say, Trump's going to bring back manufacturing jobs, so we'll get more jobs. And I said, well, you do realize that a lot of these companies that have these manufacturing places actually petition the government in order to bring people into the country legally to work for lower wages.
For cheap labor,
so you could have all the companies in the world. If those companies aren't hiring people in the towns that they're building in, like I don't even care if they're legal or illegal. If you're not hiring the people who are spending money illegal, spend money too.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're not paying them, it's just crazy. So people learn the difference between a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant.
But really, it comes down to labor. just backtracking a little bit to that video that we saw of the people saying "Hail Trump." After that video was shown, there was an interview with one of the white supremacists, with an African American newscaster, and he was telling him they were having a discussion about what this country was built on. Mm-hmm. Was it built on the backs of African slaves and even in some cases the servants from the Irish descent as well, right? So were they, your country was built on free labor. Yes. So now fast forward all the way to 2016 and beyond, we still have a topic of free labor. It's now just called
prison.
Well, no. Well, that too, but now it's about immigration, right? Mm. It's about bringing the migrant workers from other areas that want to work for whatever wage they can get their hands on, and companies that are willing to accommodate this situation, and a government that wants everyone to pay their fair share in taxes.
You need look no further than Fall River to see that. Yeah. Because when the mills were built in the city of Fall River, the mill owners also built housing, tenement housing, which is why we have so many 3-tenement, 6-tenement buildings. Yeah. To house the immigrants that they brought from out of the United States into Fall River to work. My house is one of them. 9 out of 10 of them, I bet you.
I'm pretty sure my apartment is one of them too.
This is why everybody, people from out of town, they come to visit. They're like, why are the houses so close together?
Well, so Donald Trump started with, he caught a lot of bad press from saying that the immigrants that come to this country from Mexico, particularly, were rapists, drug dealers, drug users, all that, murderers, this, that, and the other. When Fall River was blossoming as a manufacturing town, the populations that they were taking in were all migrant workers for the most part. There was no emphasis publicly about rape, murder, all that. Even if it was going on at that point in time, there was no one out there saying, hey, look what's going on here, right?
No, it was great. They offered schooling.
So
it was so great. They put the immigrants in school to train them.
So we're in a position where migrant workers could come over, can come right over the border, work for low wages, and no one could say a word. But what Donald Trump did and what some of the news does, they emphasize the burden of migrant workers, or the downside of the migrant workers. But I'm pretty sure that deep down, there are a lot of business owners that love their migrant workers.
Absolutely.
That love that low cost of labor.
Well, if you notice, Trump's rhetoric has already begun to change, because now he's talking about the people as far as Mexican immigrants and who he's going to send home. And he says it's the criminals. But here's the thing. In the United States, we already have laws in order to send you back if you're not an American citizen. I grew up with somebody who wasn't a United States citizen, but went to school just as long as I did. And that person was actually sent back to where he originally came from. He was a baby when he came into the United States. Right. And he was sent back. So it's not like they don't do it already. Yeah. It's already done. So what is he doing to change that? It's the same thing. He's just going to continue on things that have already been done.
Now, is he going to realize all these things? Is he going to reach more across the aisle? Now, in comparison to George Bush, in comparison to the way Barack Obama had it, I actually do believe he's going to have more discussion with the other side than other presidents were able to do, or were willing to do so.
Well, here's the thing. Is Trump really a Republican?
That's the other piece. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that even now, before he even put the Bible to the hand, that he's got a lot of different views than the way that the hardcore staunch Republicans have. Now, here's the seesaw on that.
Imagine if they tried to push him out.
Well, here's the seesaw on that. Will he, because he surrounded himself with a particular style of individual, will he then just lean into and give into that side and just be like, this is what we're doing, this is who we are? Or is he going to hold on to some of his personal views and say, no, I don't think this is the way things should be in this aspect?
I think he's going to quit.
A lot of people think that.
I do. I don't think
like
he
the
thought.
Fifth or sixth person.
You know, because I still sit here and I say, I'm floored at the fact that this guy became the president. And I think he's floored at the fact he became the president. Right at the very beginning on election night, when the votes started coming in, he thought he was going to have to concede. Like, he was so worried about Florida. So the fact that he won.
The WikiLeaks thing and the FBI investigation that followed, that really put everything back in his favor. Hillary Clinton was up by about 8 to 9 points before they reopened the investigation because of Anthony Weiner and that whole situation. And then once that happened, I was looking at the polls. I was looking at everybody talking. I was looking at the way some staunch Hillary supporters were starting to sound. I was like, there's a change going. There's a change going this weekend. And then the guy from FBI came out like on a Sunday afternoon or something. It was like, oh, we didn't find nothing, but hey, enjoy Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday came around and I was like, I was looking at the numbers. I even posted on my wall on Facebook. I was like, to all my Hillary voter friends, you're in for it. It ain't happening, guys. It is not happening.
I say that he'll quit, but then at the same time, I also say I still believe he is a Democrat at heart.
In some cases?
I believe in a lot of cases. I think his issue is business. Right. What hits him in the wallet? That's the only thing he truly wants to fix, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah. I don't think he cares about.
If I was the president of the United States today, my number one goal would be finances.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be war. It wouldn't be terrorism. It would be, we need to take care of our finances first before we can handle any other problem in this country.
Yeah, I think he's going to find himself having a real hard time.
And I do think that he would. I think if he was to prioritize things himself, he's because being a billionaire and being a business owner, I'm pretty sure he would prioritize. Really I think he is. I mean, he might not be 5 to 10 billion like he says, but he could be 1 to 2.
I don't think so. I think his name is worth more than we all think he is.
Well, one way or another, in his lifetime, he was a billionaire.
Yes, I believe in. He may very well become a billionaire again.
Yeah.
Thanks to his presidency.
Yeah, it is what it is. He's gonna be able to do the book tour and the college tour and the whole
thing. Even think about taking away civil rights, anybody's civil rights, I will be in Washington.
The stop and frisk thing. If he comes through the stop and frisk thing, I will snap all over everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's just too many things. So
yeah.
I'm a wait and see kind of girl on the finance part of his presidency.
Yeah.
But on the other end,
and he's put Rudy Giuliani in certain positions, and
I respected Rudy.
I was about to say
Giuliani
Doug Christie,
for a while.
Former basketball player.
I find that only recently I'm having issues with Mr. Giuliani. Well, Chris Christie, come on.
Yeah.
That was just a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And he put him on the transition team and then had to take him off. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think he is the one making the decision.
Your mayor did the same exact thing. He put some
kidding.
Unqualified guy on.
No kidding.
Or relatively qualified.
Do I want my president being as experienced as my mayor?
All right, so let's transition into some local stuff. First of all, guys, I hope I gave it about a half hour. I posted on Facebook. I hope people are listening, or people will be listening soon. I know it's Saturday afternoon. Weather's actually getting nicer out. People maybe going out and doing their thing. Thank you for listening, if you are listening, and happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know some people out there have different views on Thanksgiving as far as the Native Americans and how they're treated, and I agree with all of that. But now in 2016, it's become a family tradition for some people.
And I think we changed the meaning of Thanksgiving.
True story. And I think that. And if I had to say, if I was Sam Beckett in Quantum Leap and I could change the whole thing around for you guys, as far as Native Americans go, I would do it in a heartbeat. I really would, because what we did, well, not what we did, because I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's like me.
But what America did to you at that point in time was like, there's no word that can describe how wrong that was. However, in 2016, we've been able to turn this into a great opportunity for families to get together, enjoy dinner.
It's like, to me, I think it's the kickoff of the holiday season. It's like,
and also talk about what we're grateful for.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that we got our 60th episode in. Yes, on YouTube. Not to mention the 100 or so episodes that we did at BCC.
Watch out.
Long ago. But
we're still here.
I love doing this podcast. I still get up for it every single time when it's ready, when we're ready to go. And I'm just grateful that we still are able to do this and talk about some of these city topics and things like that. I'm grateful that all the people out there that I run into still talk to me about, hey, TJ, Trott, you should, do this and that. Not just as far as running politically, but getting involved in the community stuff, which if I don't win city council, or if I don't run again in the future, or whatever it is, to do this kind of stuff that we do as far as feeding people on Thanksgiving Day, which is what we did on Thanksgiving Day this year, and the past two before that.
It's the third year in a row.
Yeah, third year in a row doing it. As far as going down to Turner Park, we didn't go out there this morning because it was wet. We're going to go down there tomorrow morning instead. Shout out to David Pablo. I think he's listening today.
Shout out.
Yeah, and all the other things that we do in the community. Like, I'm proud that when there's something going on in the community, that there's some people out there that reach out to me and say, hey, what can we do? Like, that makes that gives me more pride than anything else out there that I've ever done in my life. And that's a true story. So I'm grateful for that big time. What are you grateful for, Nikki?
Breathing.
Breathing oxygen?
Every day I wake up, I open my eyes. That's what I'm thankful for.
Because you do smoke cigarettes.
I'm thankful for everything. I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for everybody I know, my family, my friends. Like, I really am.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm grateful I'm grateful to be alive. My mom passed away. She was only 35 when she passed. Wow. So it's like, I just think from having so many family members die so young. She wasn't the only one. Cancer runs rampant in my family. We've had a lot of deaths in their 30s.
Right.
So the fact that I'm on my way to 41 and I wake up every day, I'm good.
That's awesome.
My kids are healthy. That's all I care about.
Can't beat that, man. Can't beat that.
Yep.
I posted on my wall too about the fact that I've been through a lot. Not everyone knows what I've been through in my life. If I was to make a list of things, it would be extensive, which is that's why I'm kind of proud that I can just laugh at adversity so much. When people think that they're getting under my skin, right? When you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You know what I'm talking about. When people think that they got me in a corner, or when they think they're under my skin, I'm just kind of laughing at them and thinking, like, you have no idea the level of that I can come at you with. Do you know what I mean? Like, the energy and what I've been through. I just know what I can handle and what I can do. You know what I mean? So when people, I got my fingers like together here, they come out with me like this little small level of what they think is drama and beef or whatever they want to call it. And I'm just laughing at them because I know I can overcome that because I've overcome so many other things in my life.
You've already been through so much. So walk in the park.
And I'm proud and glad and thankful that whatever it is that's created us out there. I believe in God, but I don't know if, like, you know what I mean? Like, I believe in God, but like, we don't have the tangible evidence in our hands that it's there.
I so totally believe in a God.
Right.
Just don't know how to define it.
Exactly. That's exactly the way I see it, right?
Because we got here somehow.
Right. Right. And we feel things like love and caring. Like, I was with my godson for about 2 hours last night, like the greatest feeling in the world. You know what I mean? So we know something's out there that makes us feel these ways. You know what I mean? But whatever it is that created me personally, I'm thankful. Huh?
I said, your mother.
Your mama. Whatever it is that put it all together, I'm glad that I was
all the ingredients that made Trott.
I'm glad that I was blessed with like that ability to adapt to bad situations and come out on top and try to see the positives out of whatever I'm going through. And I've gone through some of the worst things in the world. And to come out on top of that, I'm very thankful for that, because I know it's not just myself that did it. There were people in my life that helped me all the way around the way. So just grateful for that as well, all the way up and down the line. Just very, very grateful. So
you're super grateful today.
Well, you gotta be. I think every day should be like that. Every day should be Thanksgiving.
Now everybody's got their turmoil, their stories. Everybody's been through something that affects them in a different way. I think everybody should just try to be grateful for what they have.
That's it, man. That's it. So, Nikki, you're not on Facebook necessarily, but you have been able to, you've been hovering around the way.
Popping around.
Yeah, you've been hovering around.
But I haven't been on social media, so.
No.
I'm not one of those people that goes and makes a fake one so I can go spy on anybody. It ain't like that. If I'm really that desperate to see what's online, all I can do is log on to my Facebook. I'm good with that. So if there's people thinking that I'm somebody else, God help.
That's no, a real
I would
weak
never
way.
do that.
I
would never give. Listen, if I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it under my own.
Right.
I'm not about that. So.
Yeah. No. But from what I understand, you've been digging.
I have never stopped.
You've been digging on the
research takes a long time.
Thing. So you want to tell us what you've been researching?
Well, I finally got the data, the Massachusetts Solid Waste and Recycling Survey. Yay! Remember last year I broke down a few years worth of the survey?
Yes.
So I was so waiting for this year's survey because we had
there's a website that you can like look at all the stuff.
Mass.gov. Literally, you get. This is what irritates me. We have a city council. How do they not know this information? Okay.
Campaigning.
All right. So what I find is the first difference from last year was the total number of households served by our municipal trash services. So that means all of the households, the number of households in the city of Fall River who receive trash, recycling, yard waste services.
4,000.
And it's actually this year for 2015, it was 30,600, which I found kind of interesting. 30,000,
that's like almost 3,000 or 4,000 less than last year, right?
Last year it was at 33. So it's 2,400 less households than last year. Remember, we keep talking like 2,000 households really made that much of a difference.
That's big difference. That doesn't mean that they moved out. That just means that they're no longer receiving city service.
Receive city services.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And keep in mind now, the totals that we have here. Now, the households, I think what happens is Fall River actually gives the number of households. Mm-hmm. But the numbers that we have here as far as total trash tonnage, total recycling tonnage, that includes all the waste from the municipal buildings, every municipal building we own. So here we go again, all of the schools, all City Hall, all of the fire stations, the police station, it includes all of that. The total numbers, the total tonnage. Yeah. It also includes tonnage from businesses. Now, these numbers are not broken down. They're total numbers. So this is households, this is businesses, this is municipal buildings. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here we go. Drum roll. So the total number of tonnage we have for 2015 is. Let me
break out my pen real quick.
So this is for 2015. Get your pen, get your paper.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody else is listening, especially if you work for the city, go grab your pen, grab your paper. Okay. So for 2015, our trash tonnage was 20,402 tons, which is down by, are you ready for the total of how many less tons of trash we put out this year?
In 2016.
No, this is 2015's numbers.
20,402?
Yes. So this is 2015. Okay. 2016's info won't come out until 2016 is over, darling.
Gotcha.
But they take a long time to post these numbers. And this is information that the city submits to the state. This is mass DEP information that they get. Okay. So last year, 2014, we had 23,190 tons. So from last year to this year, our trash tonnage only decreased 2,788 tons. Okay, here's where we get a little bit funkiness, okay?
Sure.
So we go over to recycling. So if we are giving less trash, right? If people are putting, and even under what I say, right, are contaminants, they're contaminated.
When you say total, when you say total tonnage, this is recycling and sanitation, like
nope, the number that I just gave you was for trash, solid waste only.
Solid waste only, gotcha.
Okay, but that number includes bulky items as well. Yep. Okay. So this is all the bulky that gets collected is included in that tonnage as well.
And then the total tonnage of recycling.
Okay, for 2015 was 9,531 tons. But here's where it gets interesting, Trott.
I'm listening.
Last year, our tonnage was 7,800.
What?
Listen, 7,830. So this year, we recycled only 1,701 tons more than we did last year. However, our solid waste went down almost 3,000.
Right.
What say you, Trott?
We have decreased our solid waste.
Uh-huh.
We've increased our recycling.
Mm-hmm. But there's more to that, because here I sat and I would normally say, see, that's because of the contamination. But if it was that, in fact, really contaminated because people were buying purple bags, that recycling number should have been a hell of a lot higher than what it is.
Whatever do you mean?
Whatever do I mean is that the city is no longer taking trash from places they used to.
About 2,400.
Here, I got the numbers right there. You
Yeah.
just look at my paper.
It was about 2,400. I'm just estimating. It was about 2,400 of a tonnage difference in solid waste. There was 1,700 tonnage increase in recycling.
Mm-hmm. So solid waste did go down, but recycling didn't go up nearly what it should have to show that balance. So that either tells me the tonnage went down more than likely due to those people privatizing their trash.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Because now during 2015, Sutter implemented the monthly fee, the monthly trash fee. Now to say that our recycling, so all this stuff they're doing about buy the purple bags, we need to recycle more, all of that push, all those threats only increased our recycling by under 2,000 tons.
Yeah, just barely over 1,500.
But when I collected all these numbers, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back 5 years to just do the 5-year breakdown and see where the difference is and see if anything sticks out to me.
We had less people actually involved in, like, less total people involved.
The city was collecting trash from less people.
It was collecting trash from less people. Now, by about somewhere around 2,700 or so, right?
It was 2,400.
2,400 different. So, and that alone could have just been.
But when you say 2,400 households, did they create 2,700 tons of trash?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
So makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now here we also go to the recycling. Remember I said that all of that tonnage, so all that recycling tonnage includes recycling being collected from municipal buildings, recycling being collected from our schools.
There was never any distinct difference between what was residential and what was
and there still isn't
public. Yeah.
But here's the thing. If people in the school department are recycling more, and we know they are, and I know for a fact Henry Lord was not recycling until last year, our recycling numbers would increase. It has zero to do with pay-as-you-throw bags.
Pretty much.
Zero.
Because they don't use bags at all.
Zero
Right.
to do with bags. The numbers that they have. So when we have our mayor saying, you know, our solid waste decreased and our recycling increased because of purple bags, dude, you're lying. Maybe a little bit, but when I see these numbers, there's just no way.
If our recycling increased, not just in the school department, although that would be the biggest entity, in fire, police, all the other areas where there would be an increase in recycling, but not an increase in purple bag usage.
Right.
Then that would explain more of the 1,700 in the increase than residential individuals.
And why aren't we
using the
making
purple
any
bags.
money on the purple bags? Because I will say it again, the amount of people buying purple bags doesn't matter when we're collecting trash from non-residential entities.
And we have to reiterate the same point that we make
It's
over and
insane.
over again, that the cost to dispose recycling is well over $80 a ton. and the cost to dispose of solid waste is about $65.
It
per
was
ton.
66 in 2015,
On
according
average,
to the information that was given
on
to
average.
the Massachusetts DEP.
So on average from the whole 12 months.
That's what
okay.
the city of Fall River states that they paid $66 a ton in 2015.
So in 2015, you're at instead of 65, you're at $66 a ton. And do you have the number for the recycling?
No.
They
Oddly
enough.
They didn't have it. See, that's another portion to this little bit of information that I want to pass along.
Gracious.
Because I noticed in the 2015 survey, a lot of information was missing. A lot of information wasn't documented, let's just say. Some of the information that was not input, that had no answer, were trash limits enforced at the curb. 2015, no answer. 2014, the answer was yes. Maximum number of bags and carts allowed each week.
Really?
No answer. Last year, it was 3.
Ha! Yeah, okay.
Barrel size in gallons.
Yeah.
This was the big one. Trash enforced by municipality.
Boom.
No answer.
Really?
For 2015.
Oh,
no
wait a
answer.
minute.
No answer.
Please tell me 2014.
No, this is for 2015.
No, I'm saying
2014. Yes.
Get that. All right. Now we know. Now we know that's garbage.
Right?
Yeah.
We either have whoever input the information for 2015 either lied or, and no, it's not.
No?
Nope.
All right.
Nope, because I knew that would be one of your questions.
Yeah, I was writing that name down. Nope.
Nope. Either whoever input this information lied, or our own Ken Pacheco lied.
That's impossible.
Because wasn't it being enforced in 2015? Weren't we told it was being enforced?
That's impossible.
Weren't there fines handed out in 2015?
No.
Say it ain't so, Trott.
I think there were fines, actually.
Anyway.
I don't think they collected anything. But.
Yeah. Okay, so then we go down to, is there dedicated trash enforcement personnel?
In 2014, I'm going to say that they said yes.
They said yes in 2014.
Yeah, there was not.
But there's no answer for 2015. But here's the thing. We get grant money for enforcement. Why wasn't that answered? That should have been a yes.
Yeah, because you have to put yes in order to receive that grant money. And there was grant money that was dedicated to, I believe, 2 workers that were going through, sifting through trash around 2015.
They were part-time.
Yeah. Like 30,000.
So that was an interesting question. Unless they're going to say, oh, well, it wasn't dedicated because it was part-time positions. Or maybe not dedicated because it was on a grant. Maybe they'll lie and say it that
There's
way.
always some way to swing it, Nikki. You know that.
Yeah. What were the other things? Oh, one of the biggest questions they asked was, are there private hauler regulations that require recycling? So what that question is if I own, let's say, a 6 tenement, I am not allowed to receive city services.
Right.
So I have to have a private contractor,
right.
A private hauler. That hauler has to offer recycling.
Absolutely.
So here we go into another thing I have to say. If that's the case, and that private hauler has to provide recycling, then why are there so many properties in the city of Fall River with private hauling who have city recycling bins?
There's actually public housing areas that had a private hauler.
They
and
still have
city
recycling bins.
I thought they got those removed. No,
they still have them. I see them 5 days a week.
Goodness gracious! Right down the street from you?
Right down the street from
that same place?
That same exact.
Didn't Mioza bring that up like 2 years ago?
And it's still taking place. And notice, not one city councilor has brought it up. So either we're getting money from them and nobody wants to talk about how much we're getting from housing to dispose of that recycling, or we're not getting a penny from them and nobody wants to talk about how we're paying or taxpayers are paying to pay for the removal of that recycling from housing, and they're not paying for it.
I asked the question a lot on Facebook. There was a fella that was trying to challenge me and things like that. And I asked him, I said, well, do you know what the purple bags actually pay for? He didn't answer.
No.
He came back with smart remarks and whatever. But
no, because here we go. There is no breakdown to say what it pays for. They can't tell you what it pays for because as far as they're concerned, it all goes into the solid waste. Right. People don't realize when they talk about our solid waste, there's so many different aspects to it.
Yeah.
You can't just say our solid waste and that's it. If you're going to sit there and blame residents for not throwing away their trash properly, yet you don't have the digits to tell us what's being spent, I don't want to hear it. You can't tell me that I'm throwing away too much trash or I'm costing you money because I'm not buying purple bags when at the same time, every day I walk past a housing project, a housing property that has city recycling bins. Right. By law, by our own law, they're supposed to have that taken by their private hauler. Why aren't they?
Until they,
is it so housing can save money?
Until they actually jump into the numbers and figure out who is using what, they really don't have the autonomy to charge somebody.
They can't even begin to decrease what we're spending if they do not know where we are spending it. So that's when I keep saying they either know and they're not saying anything because they know it's going to get them into a lot of trouble, or they're that foolish and not smart enough to realize that that's what they should know.
Or they're just trying to collect whatever they can collect from people who are willing to give the government money.
Which is what I believe. I believe they all know exactly what's going on because listen, I'm not college educated, people. Like I'm really not. I'm reading the information that the city is submitting to the state.
That's pretty much it.
So if I'm a city councilor, that's the first thing I want to look at is the information submitted to the state so I can make my comparisons.
And if that information was ever screwed and tampered with, we wouldn't have much to work with at all.
And I'm going to tell you, if they took a look at the last 5 years, they'd see something really, really shockingly amazing.
And what would that be?
In regards to our yard waste.
Go for it.
Because even I, as much as I look into trash, didn't even pick up on it. I mean, I was kind of sniffing around it.
Nikki said, even I love it.
I was kind of sniffing around it. But when I did the 5 years today after getting the 2015 yard waste information, the yard waste stuff really stuck out to me because I started doing the digits. So 2012, we had almost a little under 5,000 tons. In 2013, we had a little over 5,000 tons. But then you get to 2014 and the tonnage drops down to 1,500.
Wow.
So I sat there and I'm like, how the hell did we go from 5,100 to 1,500?
You know, there was a huge drop in pickup.
Can I tell you exactly what happened?
Yeah.
The city of Tiverton stopped Site Ready from taking our yard waste and our recycling.
I see.
So my question then becomes, well, we're getting rid of 5,000 tons of yard waste. Is that really yard waste we're getting rid of, or is that just somebody saying we had 5,000 tons?
Oh, so you're talking about actually.
I'm talking about numbers. This is flat out. There's no way. How can we go from 5,000 tons? We buy the carts, right? Because we didn't really have the carts.
A lot of people didn't have.
We didn't have those carts until we got the new trash trucks. Yeah. And then they were having a problem. Well, we need the brown carts because that's going to increase everybody in our yard waste. So why are we down so much? We bought the carts, spent all that money on the carts. How are we down so much?
But we went up from what I'm looking at here.
From last year, from 2014 to 2015.
Right.
But I'm saying back in 2013, where was that money going? Yeah. I don't care. I'm still asking that question. 5,000 tons.
It's a lot.
Now, we know people with their yard waste, right? You guys out there who have your yard waste are faithful yard waste collectors. Yeah. You have your stuff out there in bags.
Yep.
Even the people who don't have carts, you guys have been property owners for a long time.
People put Benny's bags out there and stuff. I've seen it myself.
So how did we go?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. From 51 to 15 a year later.
1 year.
Somebody's putting money in their pockets.
Smoking gun.
Just remember who's on the city council and who's been there as long as they have.
I think that Nikki feels as though there's a smoking gun.
I do feel that that's a smoking gun because I've been saying for a long time there was something funky about our yard waste even being sold. Even for us paying to get rid of our yard waste was a red flag to me.
Wasn't it like $120 a ton?
Yes, it was ridiculous. Yeah. A truckload. It wasn't
truckload,
even.
Right,
it was
right,
a truckload.
Right.
So when I see that and I look and I say, right, if we're recycling more and we're doing this more and they got the brown carts, you would think that the yard waste would have increased with the purchase of the carts.
This the easy disposal now just picks it up. They just take it.
Yeah, well, Tiverton stopped Site Ready from taking our stuff.
Right. So
in 2013.
So all I'm saying now is we're going to have a different number for 2016.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to wait like a year to get the damn numbers.
Yeah. So we have to mark this point here. And do you feel as though Easy Disposal has a deal with the city to collect that yard waste situation?
No. I believe the yard waste situation was something a few years ago that was putting money into somebody's pocket. When everybody started talking about questions and talking about trash and asking too many questions, I wholeheartedly believe that stopped.
It's over now.
Yeah. When you look at the debt, it is
a huge 38, 37, something like that.
3,563 ton difference.
Yeah.
Like that's insane when you look at that. And that's a decrease. That's not an increase. I could see an increase because we purchased the carts.
Right.
We bought the carts and literally there's almost 4,000 less tons.
Yeah.
So the carts are a waste of money.
Because you could.
Or were the carts purchased with the intent that we were just going to send more?
But some of the people who privatized were able to put their yard waste in their bins, right?
Yes, because they couldn't stop the yard waste collection.
Right. You think that make a difference?
Because it's included in your property taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another question, by the way, for 2015. Was trash services part of your property tax? And it says no.
No.
Well, it said no answer, but that pretty much means no. Was it funded by a fee? Yes. So here's the kicker.
Interesting.
All you people who paid for the fee, if you want to sue the city of Fall River, all you got to do is go on mass.gov, find that survey and print up this year's and last year's, and you can make the comparison right there. You were charged a tax. Literally, you were charged a tax. How many other people received the same service and didn't have to pay?
Bunch of people.
And it says the trash wasn't included in the property taxes. So that means that everybody who received trash services should have paid that fee.
Yeah.
Did they?
No. Not even close, actually. Probably majority less did.
Just saying, and the people who privatized too, that'll help me in court.
Interesting. Very interesting situation. Hey, do you remember that pizza guy that got
Yep.
He was like, he got like ridiculed at F&R Auto Sales in Westport. So I believe right now the city or the town of Westport is debating whether or not to take away their license to operate.
I thought they already did. There are many other complaints about that place, though.
There were 100 complaints as far as the newspaper article that I read showed. And now they're just debating, they're deliberating whether or not to actually follow through and to renew their license.
But it had zero to do with that pizza guy.
Well, it was the most popular.
I think it just put a light on Westport.
Yeah, because that made it nationwide. That pizza story made nationwide, and I believe they ended up with like $38,000 or something like that in GoFundMe donations.
I think he actually changed the name already of the car dealership.
Yeah,
I want to say the article that I read might have said he changed the name, or maybe he's petitioning to change the name.
So somebody was online. They tagged me into the thing. I didn't respond to it because I was like, whatever. These guys are gonna, this is like a thread that people are gonna go back and forth on. I have my personal views on it. Like, when you look at a libertarian point of view, you don't want government involvement. That's just the number one rule. You don't want government involved in it, especially when it comes to personal business. Let the free market handle the situation, right? So if F&R Auto is awful and hideous and bad and this, that, and the other, then guess what? You're not going to go over there and do business, are you? You're going to tell other people not to do business over there, right? And by word of mouth or by the inactivity that they're not getting any business, they'll shut down on their own. That's letting the free market handle it. That's letting their performance affect the free market, and the free market saying, we're not feeling this, you're out. That's the way the hypothetical world that a libertarian would handle that issue. No government involvement. In this case, there's a lot of people that want government to be involved in this.
There has to be government involvement. They're frauding their customers,
right?
Which is part of the reason. So they have to look into it.
They have
it's a business frauding customers.
They have an opportunity here to allow this practice to continue or not. That's basically it.
I want to even go as far. I won't say it. I'm going to look up something.
What?
I have to look up something first. I'm not going to say it out
loud. I couldn't believe that they ended up getting like so much money from that pizza thing. I was kind of blown away by it because there are people out there that could have, you know, I mean, we already know about like Cam, you know, the van situation for Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Nelly obviously was the big thing in Fall River for last year. There's a lot of people out there that could have used such a heavy level of donations. As a matter of fact, I just donated some money to someone from my graduating class that's fighting leukemia, actually. Yeah, her name's Denise. If anyone's interested in actually helping out with her situation, she's about my age, she's about 36, 35 years old or so. And she's been fighting the battle with leukemia for a long time. If anyone wants to help out with that at all, you can contact me personally. My number is 774-365-3929, and I can put you on with people that can help her out as well. My friend Adam, you know Adam,
yep.
Mr. Vegan Adam,
mm-hmm.
He texted me and about maybe 10 other people and got involved, and he was able to raise about $500 within that just little text message. Just that little text message of like group of people.
That's awesome.
We all just jumped in and said, hey, we'll give. And he ended up just really like in that one day collecting some money right there.
That's
at
awesome.
The top. And people are always ready to give. I think that we're all going through our financial hardships, but you'd be surprised at the level of caring that people have to give a little bit of what they have to help out somebody else that's struggling with things. So it was really nice. They had a party at the Eagle. I couldn't make it, but I told people, whoever, you know, if you need me to help with any kind of donations, just contact me. So it was a good deal.
Trott, I need a donation.
Oh,
I'm only kidding.
You need a donation?
I'm kidding.
You
I want to go to
you need more Lego toys to sit in your area over there?
No, I'm trying to go to a rally.
Do you notice that all the Lego toys ended on your side, no matter what?
Yes, but I noticed that Batman is way over there. I'm not too fond of Batman.
I'm a big fan of Batman.
But like Captain America needs to be over here. I'm really not fond of Batman.
I am a huge. Look at my screen.
I know you show me every week.
No, this is a new one.
Oh man.
This is a new one. Look at this. Come on, that's glorious.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
It's glorious. You don't understand?
Nope. No.
It's whatever. It's whatever.
Mine would be Captain America.
So Turner Park is looking phenomenal. It's the best view in the city of the waterfront right now.
You may not want to talk about it. You may not have your view.
What are you talking
about?
So
many people going down there. You guys won't get your view.
That's no.
I'm kidding.
No, you can literally see everything from the park now, which is amazing. And now we're off to the left side where there's literally like there's a fence, right? And there's probably about 6 to 7 feet worth of thorns and brush and weeds that are blocking the fence.
So much more space.
Yeah. So we're over there now. I don't even have my chainsaw. My chainsaw completely came apart on me.
Did it?
Yeah, because I didn't screw. I took it apart to fix the chain, and I didn't screw it tight enough. And so it came apart while I was using it one time. We were all laughing about it. I'm standing there with it still going and the chains on the floor, the chains on the ground, the blades on the ground, everything's on the ground, and I have an engine in my hand still motoring.
Nice.
It was awesome. So now we're just like cleaning out that part of it. There's an older gentleman that doesn't speak English that comes out and speaks to us anyway. Tells us how happy he is that we're out there helping out and gives us a thumbs up and stuff like that.
See, cool. You understand. He's getting his point across.
Yeah. Sign language, right? Helps a lot. But if anyone ever wanted to go down there and see the best view in the city, in my opinion, it's down right at Turner Park. It's right at Danforth Street in Fall River, right in the bottom of Locust Street as well. It's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Very, very proud of it. Whenever I walk away, I take a look back and I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
I bet it must look so much bigger.
It looks I know if Derrick was here, I know what he would say, but the view looks enormous. It looks fantastic. Looks phenomenal, and I'm very proud of it.
Now, do they have lunch in the park at that particular park?
They can do that if they want. I don't think they do.
Well, I was just wondering if it was one of the parks that they do. They might already have free lunch in the park there.
Never heard of that park being done there, but I mean, it could. That would be a great spot.
That would be a good spot.
In my opinion, where we knocked down all the trees and the weeds and all that stuff over there, if they actually, if whatever, private company, city, whoever you want it to be, came in there and cleared all that out and cemented it down and made like seats, not like stadium seating or anything, but just like long bench seating. You know what I mean? With the concrete, that's fine. I think that people would be able to sit there, eat, hang out, listen to music, whatever, and really just hang out and watch the sunset from that area. Would be just phenomenal, like outstanding. But, you know, I don't know who wants to do something like that. From what I understand, our lieutenant governor and governor gave us money, $1.6 million to do something down there at the waterfront with. I'm not sure what they've decided to do yet.
How much did we get?
$1.6 million.
They won't do anything. Well, they'll do as little as they can to make the most out of that grant.
So you're saying Jazel isn't going to spend it all there?
I'm saying that 1.6 isn't going to make a dent at what needs to be done down there.
It's not a lot of money.
It's
a lot of money for my bank account.
It's a lot of money for mine too. But when you're looking at the waterfront in Fall River, if you're really talking about changing it, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than 1.6. 1.6 will fix the carousel. That's what they'll do, something like that. They'll fix the carousel for a couple $100,000, and then all of a sudden the rest will be in free cash.
What would you do with $1.6 million?
For the waterfront? I would love to give off like a whole bunch of ideas, but I don't know what can be done. What can legally be done? What are the laws as far as what can be down there? How much waterfront do we have? Because for me, I think the first thing would be to figure out how much waterfront we have, what is usable, and how we can. I like green space. As much as everybody laughed at Pat Casey, I loved her beach idea. I think we're missing that. I don't understand growing up surrounded by water. We don't have one beach in the city of Fall River. It's kind of crazy.
Are you looking to bring back Pat Casey to the city council?
Sure am.
Jay Ramallo has something to say about that.
I would never, no. But I do think that there is something to us maybe having a beach. Doesn't necessarily have to be down where she lives. That was more to beautify her area. But we have all kinds of waterfront. We've got a lot of waterfront. And it's not just down at the Battleship. We have the ponds, and it's all closed off. Everything is closed off.
I'm really curious as to what they're going to do with the 1.6.
I'm telling you, it'll be like to fix a road, put some street lamps in where new business is going to open up, fix a street. That's what it'll do.
I don't have a problem with them fixing the street with the money. I don't have a problem fixing a street either, but let's fix one that's going to be utilized by the majority of the residents of the city. Because whatever they're fixing as far as the highway goes, that's state. We shouldn't have to put our 1.6 into that.
No, but when we say waterfront, do you see how everybody's mind goes right down Heritage Park?
Yeah.
That's not the only waterfront we have.
Right.
Which is why I say 1.6 doesn't make a dent in what I would love to do. Like when you look at our waterfront, when they always talk about tourism in Fall River, that little piece of property isn't doing much.
The stipulation, I wonder if there's a stipulation that has to be used in one part of the actual waterfront. Are we told that we can't use it in any other capacity except on the waterfront in that area? I'm not sure about it. Didn't get the details.
And what can it be used for? You know, is it going to be used to clean up? Because if it's going to be used to clean up a property, so somebody knows can buy it at a cheaper rate and not have to pay to clean it up. Right. I'm not down. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm not down for. If you're going to put the money into the city, it needs to be for the city.
I'm going to go on some of these threads because I believe the mayor posted it this morning or yesterday afternoon maybe. And I would say I liked it. And I think about maybe 500 other people did as well. So I want to see if there's a lot of comments as to what is planned or what is suggested by the people who are.
What does he say?
Haven't seen him say anything yet.
We just got 1.6 for the waterfront.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's just not.
It's better than not getting 1.6.
No, what good does it do us to get it if it's not going to? We could say we're getting all this money all we want to. Is that 1.6 going to turn into 3.5?
So you think that maybe it should be an investment to make more?
Yes, it's not. What happens is they'll say it's great, we're getting this grant, but then on top of it, you're spending taxpayer dollars.
I bounce ideas off of people that want to make an investment with the 1.6 rather than an expenditure. Well, I mean, it technically is going to be an expenditure either way, but with an opportunity to get a return.
Absolutely.
I mean, you idealistically would always want a return on whatever you get. So how does the waterfront bring you a reinvestment? How does it bring you? How does it bring you a return on your investment? I should say. How does it bring you a return?
I think as far as the regatta went, when we had the races, the boat races,
that was good.
If they're going to invest in that kind of thing, then we don't utilize it. That's the thing. What do they want to utilize? And it's too small. It really is too small to, when they talk, like I said, they're talking about tourism. You can only get so many people there. It's such a small.
Celebrates America.
That would be a start. I think would be one of the biggest things. Everybody loved Fall River Celebrates.
A lot of the people that loved Fall River Celebrates America, are they still here?
I am.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, but you know what? It doesn't have to be Fall River Celebrates America. It could be something else. Yeah. It's just that we don't. But they did the food truck thing this year, which I was so upset I didn't get a chance to go. They had that where all the food trucks, those kinds of things I can see.
That was a success in the city. That worked out very well.
And our food, I said it a million times, we have such great food connected to food.
We have two good restaurants down there, in my opinion. I like both restaurants, the Cove, and I'm not like they're not the best restaurants in the city, in my opinion, but they are good, very good restaurants. And you have a great time going down there. Remy's and the Cove. Is there room for a third?
Probably not.
What about?
It depends because it's so small. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
If you had shops, if you had like at once upon a time, you know, you go into Newport, you get to go down Thames Street and there's shops all over the place.
All up and down.
So you have restaurants, but you have shops too. So it's not, they're not just going to get something to eat. They're going to spend the day. When I go to Newport, I walk around.
I always felt as though that area particularly is an opportunity for a functional way to make money, not a fancy way to make money, but maybe some type of shipping or transport or something to that nature.
I've said that forever.
Right?
I've said that too.
It's at a really good spot for that.
Unfortunately, Newport cuts us. That's what happens. It's because Newport is so close. It's so much easier for them to get to come all the way around to Fall River.
It's almost a hassle
waste for them. Yeah.
So there's got to be, in my opinion, and again, I'm not an expert on this, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert. But if we were good enough,
if we, you know, if we were competitive enough, it may be something that would, somebody could say, hey, I'm not going to stop in Newport because you know what? They have better restaurants over in Fall River. They have better this over in Fall River. That may get things going. But our waterfront they've closed it off for so long.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if 1.6 is even going to even put a dent in any of that, but I hope that we see an effort to functionally use the waterfront more than an advertising area or more than a tourism area or something to that nature, but we can actually get some functional use out of the waterway and make it into something
it's become
that is consistently bringing something in rather than making people expend out. Go ahead.
We got a lot of people who exercise down there.
Yep.
Put that in somehow. You know what I mean? Maybe that would be, it's a beautiful walking area.
Yep.
I just think it'd make it fun. There's so many different things that they could do.
Yep.
They just sticks at that one spot. You get that one little waterfront spot.
An outdoor gym.
Like, something, maybe outdoor classes. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Like Muscle Beach in California. Hey. I don't think so.
Listen, I just, Fall River used to be bumping at one time, and we just don't have great ideas right now. The money they're pumping in is just not going anywhere.
There's been a lot of talk about building some type of pathway from downtown to the waterfront. It's a long hike. Unless you do
why do you need a pathway?
Maybe a trolley
from downtown
service.
to the waterfront. Walk down the street.
You know why they feel that way?
Go ahead, tell me.
The projects.
Of course, they don't want you to walk by the project. And that's why the waterfront will never be anything more than what it is because that project sits right there. Look at the way that they built. That was not supposed to be built that way.
You don't say Hobbit Terrace?
Well, sometimes I say Hobbit Terrace. I can never remember the new name of it.
Heritage Heights. Yes. But I lived, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I lived at Hobbit Terrace.
I love the name of it.
The basements of all our projects, including the ones in Maple Gardens, were built horrendously.
Not mine.
Stop.
No, I swear, not mine. Mine was awesome.
All right. I'll say that the ones at Hobbit Terrace were littered with moisture. And what would happen is during the rain, a lot of basements would get a lot of water in it.
Oh, really?
And it would bring in a lot of bugs, a lot of water bugs, a lot of ants. Next thing you know, roaches are starting to develop. It was festered at all times. Cockroaches in those projects back then.
Listen.
It was a nightmare.
And they don't care about getting rid of the pests either because they keep that same stupid company that's been doing it forever and doesn't
Surf.
to get
No,
rid of them.
it's not Surf Pro.
No. That was that Flynn was doing it for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, we fortunately were able to get out of there, but I remember being like 5 or 6 years old and these things were enormous. Maybe it's exaggerated because I was a young kid, but like it was enormous and it was every day. It was bad. Bad. Hobbit Terrace was a hellhole.
Yeah, see, I can't say that about MG. I can't. Maple Gardens was
well, good. I had a lot of great memories at MG because of the people. You know, Ahmed, you guys.
I can't believe you just said that name. Do you know when the last time I heard that name was?
Oh, I can say hi to him real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, I can talk to him real quick.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's on Facebook. He works at
That's so funny.
He works out in a Sonnet. I don't want to say where, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
I haven't heard that name in so long.
I saw him at Scotty's pub last year when I was running, and I gave him a handshake, and he tried to break I was like, listen, you don't have to prove yourself to me. You're 7 feet tall. Stop it. He's like, you can keep up with me. I'm like, yeah, stop it. It was funny. I'm gonna enjoy next year. Next year is gonna be fun. I posted it on my page about what I'm planning on doing for the election next year. I'm gonna continue to do what I do as far as not taking people's money. I'm never gonna do it. People, you stick. No, that's not happening.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's not happening.
Don't
I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to do it. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like anything I do, I'm gonna make sure that people understand that I have a conviction for it. I'm not doing it just because some other guy isn't doing it or because some other guy might make fun of me for doing it. It's not about that.
Well, then that's just silly if somebody is going to make fun of you for not raising money. To me, those who do have to raise money are the ones who are foolish.
You run the campaign that you feel most comfortable running. I feel awkward at social parties, like not social parties. I'm sorry, politically social parties.
Ugh.
When it's room filled of politicians, I don't feel comfortable in those rooms. I feel like I have to be somebody I'm not, or like I feel like the people talking to me, not all of them, because I've met some really nice people. Eric Poulin's one of the good ones in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about Eric Poulin.
I don't know him
He's one of the guys that I've run into on a couple of occasions at political parties, or I've seen him. There's a group of kids that the youth violence prevention groups. I've seen him there. He's a genuine guy. I'm not. I don't know if he's like, what, if there's somebody that knows other sides of him that I don't know, that's fine, whatever. But the guy that I've talked to, as far as Eric Poulin goes, I like that guy. He came off as a genuine guy to me. And there's a lot of other ones that are genuine too. Mayoza is the first person that comes to my mind about genuine. You know what I mean? But there are some. I'm not going to say all. And I'm not that guy. But the other guy, Stephen Long, he comes off as genuine to me as well.
So funny how my view of him changed from the beginning. I was so nervous when he first was in the seat, and then the more I hear him talk, the more I'm like, yeah, we need more of you.
And I've been fed, I feel like I've been fed a line of BS by a lot of other politicians throughout the times that I've been involved in this. And sometimes I feel it's like, yeah, that's because that's the kind of person they are. And then sometimes I feel like they feel the pressure of living up to that persona.
They do too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to be somebody that other people accept.
Right. And Edward Costa tapped on it a little bit when he talked about his role as a school committee member. And I feel as though I take that information and I say, all right, good. If I ever feel that way, I am definitely going to do X, Y, Z. I am not going to do what, your typical politicians do. And I've decided that political parties, like political social gatherings and things like that, it's just not my thing. It's not. And I can't make that my thing. And if that stops me from becoming a city councilor, I'm like, I can look in the mirror and say I'm okay with that.
You don't have to go to those political parties to meet voters. Voters really aren't at those political parties. Those political parties are, you're my friend, I'm coming out to support you and to give you money so you can run. That's all that is.
I'm sure, like Edward talked to me about a little bit, and he said that there are definitely voters at these parties, and I said that's fine. That's cool. There very likely are voters at this party. As a matter of fact, I had a party at the St. James.
Who already have their minds made up.
Well, I had a party at the St. James not so long ago. Pam LeBeau and Jess Machado actually showed up to it. Believe that. Mm-hmm. And on first half of I don't think you were. I don't think so. Okay. My mom was there. A lot of people were there. The half near the kitchen of St. James was filled up with people that I already knew and that. On the other side it was just a regular bar and everyone was doing fine. I went over to that side. I talked to everybody on that side. Come to find out later on, when I was putting signs up on houses, a guy came out of his house and he said, "Hey, I saw you at the St. James. You can put a sign right here." Mm-hmm. It was right next to Laterno, which is one of the big spots for votes. And I appreciated that. And I said to myself, that was the value. I saw the value in doing it that way. And that's perfectly fine. I ultimately have to run the election that I can run, that I am capable of being who I am in running. It wasn't me. It's not me. The only reason why I worked at St. James because I go to St. James. I'm there all the time. Not all the time. I used to be there all the time.
Yeah, but that wasn't exactly a political.
It wasn't.
It wasn't a political function. Are you talking about the one that you held around when you ran? Yeah. All right, I was there.
Yeah,
I was there.
That seemed more like a party than it did a social function of like, this is my candidate. Like I didn't even want to do a speech.
Suit and tie. You didn't have to.
Right.
That's the difference.
It was more of a gathering and everyone getting together and that was it, and some free food for them and that was it. And I didn't even have a speech ready. Actually, I think it was Pam and Jess that were like, "You should do a speech. You should do a speech." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do a speech." And I just said thanks to everybody and regular stuff. I can do public speaking. I spoke in front of colonels and majors and generals for 10 years in the military. I know how to do public speaking very well. It's just when it comes to doing politics, like I just want to do the work. I want to be there. I want to do the work. I want to fight. I want to battle for what I feel is what people deserve in the city, right? I'm not there to make people laugh and have a great time and all that kind of stuff. Like to me, that is all like pandering to voter stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's all just pandering to voter stuff, and I don't think I can play that game, Yeah,
so, I couldn't do it either.
So the campaign that I'm going to run is going to be more about, boots to the ground, getting out there door to door on my weekends, getting out there door to door on my days off from work, if I can squeeze them in. Social media is going to be big for it as well, pointing out what I feel is right and wrong about some of the council meetings that I'm going to be criticizing up and down the line, and I want people to be critical of me as well in a productive way. I don't like your shirt, Trott. Remember Faust talking about my Facebook picture because I had like a Patriots hat on. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that was silly, right? I want to be involved.
It'll be a different election this time around just because of the presidential election and the way that went. I wonder if that's going to have an effect on the way some people campaign.
There's going to be, I'm hoping that there's going to be like a bunch of Trump clones running right now.
It'd be very interesting to see.
That'd be great to watch. That'd be great to watch. We need to build a wall around Fall River.
We have one. Taunton River.
Vinyl fence. Highland fence. We'll be building the wall around. Actually, I hung out with my friend Adam the vegan, right? Yep. And he's friends with somebody from Highland Fence. We just sat down and talked for a while. I didn't bring up any of the Flanagan stuff, whatever. But he was a really nice guy, actually. He was a really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. And him and his wife were really nice. So I had a good time. It was cool. You get that look on your face?
No, I hang out at home.
I hear you.
I keep to myself, man.
I hear you.
Stealthy one.
No, I want to make sure that, and I want people to understand that if they don't see me out in the political events, like not to take offense to that, because my work isn't going to be at parties if I'm a politician in Fall River.
That's one of the worst things. Like, just from me being a resident, when I look at all politicians and all they're doing is going to this event and that event and this event, I'm like, don't they have a work? No, I'm serious, because if all they're doing is that, then they're not doing any research on the finances of the city. I want my politicians to be so busy that they can't show up.
Nikki, that was reflected in their commentary and in their performance as city councilors.
Still is.
That was reflected. And I want people to know, like, if I sit in that seat, it's not going to be a performance. I may stutter. I may make it like I do in the show sometimes. I may say a word or two off.
If you say the wrong word, that's going to be awesome.
But what's really going to resonate, hopefully, is the effort. What am I really trying to accomplish? Am I trying to accomplish looking better than the next guy? Or am I trying to accomplish like solving a problem?
It's going to be funny.
You're going to laugh at me.
If you make it, if you get elected. No, because I can picture it. I could picture you sitting there and then like saying something and then saying the wrong word, but then stopping and looking around.
And then I'll be like, what do you have to say? It's like I say to you, what are you doing? What are you saying? No.
You'd be like, we could just add that in the book.
Yeah. Just mark me down for that one. Or I'm constantly raising my hand to correct what I said earlier. Yeah. Oh, I said earlier, like
5:42.
Yeah, 5:42. I said this. I meant to say this for the record. Thank you very much. We'll be there till 1 o'clock in the morning correcting myself.
You're already there till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's bad. It's bad because they don't have to take all these days off.
Do the work that they're supposed to do before they get to the meeting. So like where the meeting, they're supposed to be prepared.
Yeah.
They're never prepared. So when these things come up and it's like, oh, well, I have this question. I want to talk about this. And that's when the rest of us are ready to whack our heads on the table.
I think that I've seen Cliff be more prepared for some of his meetings. He has to be. No, I'm not saying all the time.
But you know what? He might be the only one who was even, that's why I liked him. I wasn't too keen on his run. But after the first few meetings I saw him at, I appreciate people who do work.
So here's how it went with Cliff. Cliff's commercials, obviously, like I wasn't into that, but I liked his approach when he first 2-3 months or so in. I liked his approach. I liked how he was asking questions. I like that. The ongoing joke was concerned. She used concerned a lot. Mm-hmm. I have concerns. That started to be an ongoing kind of an inside little joke with some people, but I still inboxed him numerous times and told him how much I appreciated his approach. I liked what he's doing. I think he's going to do a great job. I did say that to him because I believed it until budget season came and he completely, and again, maybe we can chalk it up to being his first time around. He definitely like cracked under pressure. Like he sounded scared when he was like talking about the budget.
Well, but I believe, like I said, when you have certain, I'm saying like I said, like I already said something. Jeez Louise. I think his fear came from maybe some other city councilors who had been on the council for a while talking about us going into a bankruptcy. And
well, he was concerned about the union pressure
I think
too.
That
He was concerned about the union pressure.
Suing
too.
them
He was
suing
concerned about the union pressure in general, I believe, not just the suing of the city, which he mentioned frequently, but also the pressure of not getting that support again in the future, politically.
Well, if that's his concern, then I'm saddened to hear that.
I think all 9 seats, all 9 of them had that concern in their head. But Joe's a funny guy. Joe's a funny guy, because they were saying to Joe, I literally heard union members from sanitation department say to Joe, "You're done. You're done. You're done," because of how we voted.
Yep.
And he had that Joe Camara smirk on his face, like, all right, you ain't the first, you ain't the last.
Yeah, I had many conversations with many people from sanitation, and they were being fed a whole line of baloney. And
from in Providence, right?
From their union leaders, from their boss. They were being fed a whole bunch of baloney, and all they should have looked at was the facts.
So when I actually walked out with Joe on that one, and I said, "What do you think about that? Like, how do you handle that?" Just as a person who may be in that chair one day, asking how is it? How is it to hear that from somebody while you're trying to do your job? Like when I do my job, I work with parents and kids and stuff like that. I get an angry parent and they yell at me sometimes, or I get an angry parent that's like living in New Hampshire somewhere, calling to my agency and say, "Hey, you said this when it's this," and I'm like, "All right, well, let me clear this up." Like, I can handle that. But when you're sitting on a seat and like what you say is what you vote for can determine millions of dollars towards something or against something or for something, you know what I mean? When you pissed off somebody that gets directly affected by that financial decision, how do you handle that?
But see, if it were me, I would have had that communication long before it got to that point.
True.
This is where those guys were right on the front lines for the council not to sit and talk with them directly, not with their union representatives, not with hear them out. Like I said to them, like I used to tell them, you guys are the ones who are collecting the trash. You should be able to tell us where we can have cuts, where we could save money.
But they're not in the business of doing
And they
that.
No, because it was the union. They wanted that contract. They wanted those raises. They wanted the benefits, and it didn't work out for them.
You look at the other fight, the other union fight that I think Jazel, he came out. I think he came out on was the $4 million that he did not, that he looked for to cut on the education department. And Meg Mayo Brown's initial budget that had a $4 million or so excess that he felt wasn't needed, wasn't necessary. To me, it was like when I watched that go down, I was also again looking at the union pressure in that situation. I got to get something to hold these pens.
Well, you're holding them in your hand like a politician would.
Yes.
They always hold that pen.
Yes. Bob Dole had the pen.
Dole.
But real quick,
Clicker.
He, the way that Jazel handled that, in my opinion, I was looking at the union side of this, and I was looking at what was being done in response to Jazel in this, right? So you remember that meeting, the audits and budget preparation, was it budget preparation and audits? You know what? I don't know. I don't remember their name
meeting it was.
because they only had one meeting. I don't remember their name. I think it was called Budget Preparation and Audits Subcommittee.
Yes.
It had Rich Cabaceres and Linda Pereira and Sean Kadim.
The trio?
Yeah, the triumvirate of and they also, like, with two of those guys. Well, with Linda Pereira, she always, she advertised herself as, "I'm your city councilor. I am, the people's city council," that kind of thing. Whereas Sean Kadim is the financial expert, the genius, this, that, and the other. And then you had the other person, Cabaceres, "I'm the financial expert, I'm the genius on this." And they all got there, and all it turned into was a plea to Jazel to pass that budget that Meg Mayo Brown wanted. The city.
Oh, I remember that meeting.
Yeah, the input time was literally children crying up there. And then a plea at the end to continue with the sanitation fee.
Yeah.
To continue with and a plea for those who aren't paying the fee to pay the fee.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that ended up becoming, right? And I believe that was all because you have three counselors there, including Ponte, who was in the crowd as well, or in his seat as well, making that effort to show their support towards the union. That's the way I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and we're friends. Like, I don't know if we're friends with Jason Burns, but we like Jason Burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Union guy.
Yeah.
Union
I went to high
head,
school with
right?
him.
I've tried to say to people that if I was a counselor, I wouldn't be an anti-union counselor, because you shouldn't be anti-people in general.
No, I wouldn't be anti-union either, but
Yeah.
I would definitely sit down with them, and if things needed to be cut, they would be cut. And I wouldn't fold to them if it was necessary for those cuts to be taken.
The ultimate bottom line is, where does your money come from? Everyone has to have an understanding as to where your money comes from. And you get what you pay for. If you're in a city where the taxpayer is squeezed dry and you work for an entity that depends on taxpayer money, then this is what you're getting. It's not in my hands. It's not in the mayor's hands. Even though your politicians are going to promise you unions everything under the sun that you want, the truth of the matter is, all you got to do is drive around Fall River and take a look. There's not a lot of taxpayers in the city that have a whole lot of money to spend.
Look at all that time they spent arguing about the hauling of our trash, right?
Right.
And how many times did I say, it's just the hauling. It's just the hauling.
Yeah,
it's not all you guys are arguing about who's bringing our trash from the curb to Airport Road. None of that is going to change anything. And here we are, right? And none of it has changed yet. We still have all the same issues we've had.
Yeah. And again, going back to where it comes from, my job as a city councilor is going to be to figure out a way to take that burden off taxpayers. That's the true story. Because why? We have to preserve that base. We have to preserve that base. We have to expand that base. We do. We have to preserve that base, and we have to expand that base. If we squeeze that base too dry, you're not going to have anything. If you're in a union in this city, nothing. There's not going to be anything for you to get. That's why I felt like contractual raises was just ridiculous. Not because people don't deserve raises, not because I don't appreciate the job people do. I'm always constantly remembering where the money comes from. That's really what it's about. If you're not able to fully accept that, and you just kind of like, oh yeah, taxpayers, whatever, give me my money. If you're that mentality, if you have that mentality, we're going nowhere in this city. And unfortunately, Nikki, I think that more people have that mentality everywhere.
Well, like I said, it trickles down. You start at home. You got to change things here before it can affect everywhere else. People just want what they want. They see people on TV with big TVs, big cars, big mansions, things like that. Like, man, I'm gonna get my $3 raise, man. I'm gonna go after it too. Like, to me, it's like we have to have a realization, a real come to life moment where we are on the scale. And Fall River is a struggling town when it comes to money and paying taxes. It's just struggling. It's beat down. And we can't keep on squeezing them out. They're just spending more than what they should be. They're not looking for ways to slow down spending at all. You're talking about the government. Yeah. Because their go-to is always your pocket. I think that's their first go-to. I think a citizen in their own right should be able to spend money on whatever they want to spend it on, right? They've been obligated to pay taxes. They've been obligated to give the government a certain amount of money. And okay, fine, if that's what they want, then that's what they can pay into. But at the end of the day,
if you're expecting more automatically, just based on a government contract that a mayor that promises you the world is giving you, but then he looks back at his tax base and realizes it can't be done. That's why you end up with stupid purple bags. That's why you end up with fee increases left and right, all the way up and down the line. You know, you got people out there saying, "Oh, Jazel raised fees higher than any other mayor ever." Blah blah blah. Well, guess what? They're all stuck in these contracts with their unions that they've promised them X amount of money that they can't provide. You know, that's a big chunk of the reason why it's all the way it is. And then you got a union guy who's not a city councilor anymore coming to me and telling me, "Oh, well, it has to be this way because we're obligated to do it." Well, no, guess what? We shouldn't be obligated.
That's what needs to change.
Right. We shouldn't be obligated to that. That's the problem.
We shouldn't do things just because that's the way it's always been done. If it's not working, we need to figure out a way for it to work. And I'm sorry, I've said it. If I was in a union, all right, and I knew that my jobs were at risk, I would be doing whatever I could to keep my job. And that wouldn't be threatening people. That wouldn't be group protest as far as voting a certain way. If I were one of the guys on the sanitation department, I would have told the city what I thought ways they could save money.
That's it.
I would have at least tried it that way.
Yeah. And so that way everyone can make out.
Not concerning myself more with getting $100 more for my clothing allowance this year than I got last year. Because, and make no mistake, those things never decrease.
No.
Those things always seem to increase. They don't ever decrease.
Anytime, so let's put it this way. Taxpayers are having a hard time in Fall River making their ends meet. Let's just say that that's a true statement, okay? And your union is expecting a contractual increase in that same year. And the mayor and the city council come together and say, "Look, we can't provide this." And then the union can then turn around and say, "Oh, this politician doesn't support kids." Excuse me? This politician is putting everybody in danger of public safety not being there for you.
Yes, you need to buy trash to keep our police officers and our fire department going.
Turn around and say, "Oh, this city's gonna burn to the ground if we don't take." Literally, we literally saw people say these things, right? Pictures of Notre Dame and all this stuff all up and down the line, right? We saw all this. We see what's going on. Oh, everybody's got to get on the same page here. That's what really has to happen. Everybody's got to get on the same page here.
Buy an island.
Yeah?
Yeah. And just create my own city.
How are you going to pay for it?
Union dollars only can.
You heard that, right? I'm serious. I was like, listen. The views and opinions expressed by Nikki and Derrick.
Listen, if anybody seriously thinks that I can buy an island with union dollars, then they're not exactly.
Not Fall River Union. You might be able to get a Union Bay.
Maybe a Pez dispenser.
Yeah. At any rate, guys, Nikki Trott here, and you will very likely see Derrick next week. Not sure.
Well, you won't see him, but you'll hear him.
Yeah. You might see his name up on the thing. Thanks to everybody who was listening. I ain't got no music for you. I am not playing music anymore here, man. I'm telling you, every time I play music, something bad happens here.
Yeah, we just gotta make our own.
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. I could go back to the YouTube thing where you could play like the uncopywritten music, but it didn't sound that good. Not
always. We had to go through a bunch of them to find one.
Yeah. I think just saying hello and saying goodbye. Yeah. Oh man, I would play the Beatles song right now. You say goodbye. Say hello.
We could sing it.
I'm not gonna sing it. Nikki can sing it. That's not me. That's not my thing. So I apologize to you guys. We didn't end our show with a big 15-minute argument like we did the last week. It was cool though. It was fun. It was fun to do. I think no matter who the president is of the United States, we still we do have an obligation to to try to treat each other with as much respect as we possibly can.
That's it. No matter what your views are, just respect people.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to marry them. I'm not asking you to change your skin color or your religion. Just respect the people around you.
Put some respect on it.
Yeah, that's it.
No, he said respect. Put some respect on it. That's what he said.
That's what he said?
That's exactly what he said. Yeah. But you want to put some respect on it. Like, you definitely want to respect each other the best you can, even if you disagree. You know, I have a hard time with people who I feel are disingenuous. I got to do a better job because I just don't have any respect for people who are disingenuous. I don't.
See, I'm just like one of those weird.
And I got to do a better job of that.
Like how you were talking about Joe and the guy saying, you're done.
Yeah.
Had I been Joe,
yes,
I would have gotten up in the middle of the meeting and started dancing around like I was in the video Beat It. You know that scene? Beat it. I would like rip a shirt and tie our wrists together and say, "You ready to go?" Because that's what you're giving me right now. That's what you're giving me. I say it all the time. I'm like, if I was ever walking and somebody would want to pick a fight with me outside, I would dance in the street like I was from West Side Story.
Oh my goodness, Casey.
When you're a jet, like that. Like, come on, people.
You're killing me.
How old are you?
But yeah, I think that's the way we get through all this, is just to have some common decency for each other, no matter who the president was, whether it was Obama, Bush, all of them. This is no different. This is going to bring about a whole new brand of crazy people that are going to try and act like this president may represent their personal views. We're going to, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I'm not even arguing
I
now.
I hope that I am wrong.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying about Donald Trump
That's
from
all.
day one,
That's
is I
all.
hope I'm wrong. Because I really see a natural disaster coming in a way.
Washington if I'm not.
If he brings back that stop and frisk and all that respect conversation I was talking about 2 minutes ago goes out the window.
And you know how I feel
snapping
about that. You know how I feel about that and the whole prison thing
Yeah.
and crying over Idaho potatoes. Like, this is not even, like, you don't understand my life right now.
Y'all take care of each other. We will be back next week, and we will definitely, like, this is it now, because I think the Turner Park thing for me, the hard part's done. So I'm back every Saturday. And go down to Turner Park and check out that view. I'm telling you.
Where is Turner Park?
Not be disappointed on Danforth Street. You will not be disappointed. Just go all the way to the bottom of Locust towards the waterfront. That's all. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee that. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great weekend.
Asta.
Bye.